Chris, the Drake, Rick, and Chris Breezy. There wasn't enough room for that in the line. You know what I'm saying? In the intro. Well, let me talk about this, man. It's getting crazy out here in these streets, man. Listen, the thing about the black community, you know what's amazing about us? You know, we can chew gum and walk at the same time. We can have so many things going on in the world. We can have the NBA playoffs happening right now. We can have LeBron James losing. You know, we could have protests happening. We could have a war in the Middle East going on. Presidential elections happening all over the place. In Toronto, we got crazy stuff happening. We got police chasing people, who are robbing liquor stores on the wrong way, killing folk. Craziness going on. We can do so many times. But the question is why? The question is why? Well, I said I would talk about it. I'm here to talk about it today on a rainy afternoon in Toronto on a Friday at the beginning of May. It says April showers bring May flowers, but I don't think May agrees with that sentence because it's raining here in May in Toronto. And we need to talk about this. Listen, this whole thing for me started minding my own doggone business. And I came to work, and one of my younger coworkers, because I'm an old head, I'm not afraid to admit it, I'm an old head. I'm not following rap music. I'm not following what rappers are doing. I'm also a church boy. I'm not really into the secular scenes of rap. The only way that a man of my age really stumbles across new tracks is if he has teenage girls for daughters. That's it. That's it. That's the only way. And I got teenage girls for daughters, but that's not how I heard about this. I stumbled across this because my coach, one of the coaches who coaches with me, a coworker, who happens to be white, Yeah, the blazer is blazing today, baby. I'm in my salmon. I'm in my salmon era. That he happens to be white, and yes, in Toronto, white people. He's younger than me. He's in the 30s. White folk know about rap music more than me. He knows more than me, but he's the blackest white guy that you could know. Shout out to Matt Cole, the blackest white brother that we know, the pride of Vaughan High School, the jump shooting white boy, my man, Matt Cole, who hit me to, did you hear the new J. Cole diss? I was like, what did you just say to me? He's like, man, it's fire. You got to listen to it. And so I got on this listening, first of all, to J. Cole. J. Cole coming for Kendrick Lamar. That's who I'm assuming he was coming for. And I was like, well, what's this, man? This sounds serious. I was listening to it. It was mildly entertaining. I still had to be explained some of the context of what he was saying, because again, I'm not in the culture. So then we go from that to Drake. Drake coming with Drop and Give Me 50. I'm like, okay, well, Drake definitely got, Drake's got this whole 20-1. Everybody's coming for me. And so we know Drake drops his Drop and Give Me 50. Again, I needed to get context for that. Now, 6 hours later is actually when my true attention gets hit with this. Because Rick Ross, the boss, comes out, smoking hot, smoking, in my opinion. My 17-year-old daughter thinks I'm crazy because she's like, Dad, did you listen to Drake? I go, yeah, it sounded good at the time, but when Rick Ross came with it, when Rick Ross came and called him a white boy, I was like, oh no, this has gotten serious. And this is now bringing the contextuality of this thing to pass. I'm not done yet, but when he started calling Drake a white boy, and he posted that picture, and I'm like, who is this picture? And again, my coach, the white guy coach, says, that's Drake as a white guy. I'm like, you got to be, Rick Ross, you didn't. Rick Ross went low. Rick Ross is broadcasting when Drake was bigging him up. Rick Ross went real low, smiling with all them veneers in his mouth, saying he got more money than Drake. And that's a big fight now. Who got more money, Rick? And he's showing and then Rick went into showing his properties and showing his cars and saying, I need a next door neighbor. This lot's worth this much. And we're going to be doing this. And he started talking to money. It's like, well, that Rick Ross was, whew, Rick wasn't playing. But then, listen, from there, again, I'm not in the culture. We don't want to hear him say nigga no more. That. I'm getting to that. But hold on. Rick Ross is not followed up by a return from Drake necessarily, although Drake is the most pettiest human. He's very Toronto-like. I'm petty like him. He's petty. We're petty in Toronto. He's hilarious. He's a hilarious guy. But then I hear Chris Brown come for Quavo. And Chris Breezy now comes for Quavo. And I'm like, wait a minute now. This thing has gotten infectious. And I didn't know Chris Brown can rap like that. Chris Brown can rap. And Chris, he ended it with, "You've been bodied by a singer." I was like, oh, these guys are taking this thing to a whole nother level. And then, finally, after being quiet, the 5-foot giant wakes out of his slumber and drops Euphoria. Now, I started listening to Kendrick Lamar's Euphoria because I'm in this now. I'm part of this now. I'm part of the culture. I'm like, okay, I'm in this now. Let's hear what Kendrick Lamar's got to say. And to be honest with you, I've never listened to one doggone Kendrick Lamar record. I'm understanding that people are acting like he is the new poet of the time. It's similar to me, and this is my only reflection of when Kanye and Jay-Z and people used to talk about Kanye's lyrics and Kanye and this, and similar again, going all the way back to Biggie and to Pac, right? Because I was never a Pac guy, and I was never a Kanye guy. I didn't really like their music. I really didn't. I really never liked their music. I really never did. I never liked it. I never liked their music. I never liked it. But going back to that, here comes Kendrick Lamar. And at the beginning, I'm listening to him, I'm like, this guy sounds a little weird. Kind of a little strange, little kind of, offbeat, kind of quirky. He's like a little quirky kind of guy, and he starts, but I start listening. It's a 6-minute. Euphoria is about 6 minutes, and I'm listening, and then he gets to the part where he says, "I hate this, and I hate that, and I hate when you use the N-word," and I'm like, wait a minute. This white boy thing, and he says this earlier before that. He says, something about Tommy Hilfiger, but you could never, he says something like, you could never wear FUBU. You could never really be for us, by us. Again, a direct assault on Drake's ethnicity. Now, this is something that I have said for the entire time. Remember, I'm in the 6 right now. This is Drake's yard. We're here, right? We're in the 6. And something I always said, I said, that Arab, I used to call him an Arab. I'd be like, that Arab really doesn't have the right to be using the N-word. I used to say it all the time. Why is this Arab? Isn't he Jewish? How come he's using the N-word? And now with all of this, I went and did my due diligence, right? Because Drake, when Drake first came out, Drake had a low little lineup like me. He looked very mixed, looked like a typical mixed kid. But as Drake began to grow his hair and get braids and grow the beard in, I was like, that boy looked like an Arab to me. Is this? And so when they come out and they start calling him white boy, and I'm like, wait, and they say, I hate when he uses the N-word. I'm like, wait a minute, let me look a little deeper into this. Now, Drake is biracial. The pictures that I see is that his Anglo mom, and we can't talk about biracial people because in America, let's be fair, Barack Obama, we call him the first black president. He's a biracial guy. His mom is white. His father's an African. Very clearly biracial. Very clearly. But he identifies as black. He looks like he's black. We got people like Malcolm too. Malcolm clearly has he's got a little milk in his situation too. So we can't go that far. Biracial is biracial. Tiger completely abandoned. He wanted to be Caucasian or something like that. But Drake has embraced his blackness to some extent, it seems like, especially in the music. But I looked at his pops. His pops look a little bit like, there's no disrespect to people's parents, right? His pops, if I had to say what he looked like, he kind of looks like Cheech from Cheech and Chong. Like he looks a little Hispanic. He's got a little curly beard. He's definitely a man of color. I don't know of his ethnicity. He definitely could be an individual who's from the Middle East too, by what he looks like, But clearly he is of a Hamitic, African, dark, pigmented perspective. He's definitely that. Definitely. Doesn't look like Drake. Drake don't look like him. Don't look like the mother either. He's taller. He's a different facial structure. Completely doesn't look like his parents. But those are his parents. However, when folks are bringing up the fact that they don't feel that he has the right to use that N-word, I don't know why it resonates with me to some extent. It does kind of resonate with me. I don't know about you, but it kind of resonates with me to some extent. I don't know. It just, the whole time I was calling the brother an Arab. Like I said, I was calling him an Arab. I was like, he's the DJ Khaled of Toronto. And he's clearly, according to what it looks like, he's clearly a biracial dude. But when Kendrick started to hit us with that, and then said he doesn't like them, he uses the N-word, and he went into that, and he hit him with Euphoria, I was like, oh, this thing is beginning to get traction. And apparently he's followed up with another track. I listened to that too. I can't lie, I'm not really a Kendrick Lamar fan. I'm not really into the Kendrick Lamar thing. He's definitely artistic, but he's not my cup of tea. He kind of falls on the wayside of kind of like the Kanye and the Tupac. I know they're artistic and I know they got talent and whatnot, but they're just not my cup of tea. What's this brother saying here? He says, how long you been balding for food? What? How long you been balding? Did he say I'm balding? I don't know. You think I'm balding? I don't know. How long you been balding for food? What does that mean? I don't know. Again, if this is something in respect to to the lyrics, y'all gotta tell me, man. Because what I'm listening to is I'm listening to all of these artists who have come to the surface to create this new kind of an 80s diss track, maybe early 90s too, diss track culture again. And they're coming very, very hard for each other. And frankly, at the very beginning of it, I did not know what to think. J. Cole took his Kendrick Lamar diss down. I think he called it initially, I might delete this. I think that's what he called it initially. And we have these talented, brilliant rhymesmiths, poets, who are simply using this gift to talk about how much money they're making, to come for each other, talking about I slept with your baby mama, you slept with my baby mama, I don't care if you slept with mine, and I got more money than yours, and you can't keep a chick, and your boys, what Kendrick Lamar said in this last track, he said, listen, the people that are with you, Drake, those you taking care of about 100 dudes, and only about 20 of them are with you. The rest of them just want to be part of your lifestyle. Ooh. These guys are hitting low below the belt. And they're saying, somebody here says, Rob Max says Drake is a vulture, meaning a culture vulture. Drake's dad is from Memphis, Tennessee. Okay, I hear you. Drake's dad is from Memphis, Tennessee. I didn't know that. I didn't know that either. I did not know that. I don't know where his pops is from. I wanted to see what he looked like. And he clearly looks like a brother, right? But he does, again, to me, look Middle Eastern, and so does Drake. Looks very Middle Eastern to me. But I wasn't sure where the brother's ethnicity, because we got a lot of guys who are using the N-word, to me, in music, shouldn't even use it. I don't like when I go to the gym, when I go and I'm hearing, and listen to me, it's coming out of our mouths, but it's just weird to me to listen to non-black people rock rap music with racial slurs. And I know it's us. I know it's our own music. They're playing our music, but it seems so, doesn't make you uncomfortable. Am I the only one who's uncomfortable when it seems like the music is got so many racial slurs and it's just being rocked? It's being played in the high school I work in. They play it like it's nothing. They don't edit the words. There's no edit anymore. They play the full cuss words, the full N words, and nobody cares. White folks they don't even see it. No, it doesn't bother them. It doesn't bother us. It bothers me though. I'm not the only one. Thank you, because I don't. It's just funny to me. It's really funny to me, and the N word has taken a true turn since I was a little boy. It really has. I'm binge watching one of my I think all-time series. It's the Godfather of Harlem. And in the Godfather of Harlem, recommend it's on Prime Video. The Italians versus Bumpy Johnson, the Harlem Godfather, and they find, of course, these great Italian white actors. And when these guys use the N-word, boy, when these dudes drop that N-word, man, it takes me back to the 1960s. When they drop that, ooh, Lord. And the movie is about, the series is really about Bumpy versus the Italian mafia. And it kind of starts out with an Italian mob's daughter being in love with a music playing brother, and it goes a couple of seasons into that situation, and that's big, man, and the hatred and whew. And so when I deal with the N-word, that's the basis of me. That's where I deal with it from. I deal with it from there. When these modern kids deal with the N-word, they don't deal with it how we dealt with it back then. You couldn't call me that. You couldn't say that. You couldn't say that. You could not say that word and not know there's going to be holy consequences for that word. No. You couldn't say that word back then. But then when we got rap music, when rap music started to become popular, and we start to take back the identity of the term and started to now nuance it into a colloquialism of camaraderie for ourselves, that was interesting. Because black people would call other black people the N-word, but they meant it the same way white people meant it. But we changed it somewhere along the lines. It became a term of endearment. And it goes back and forth between being a term of endearment and insult, and it's crazy how comfortable we have allowed people to get with that word, including ourselves, right? And then we've taken out what they call the hard R, and they replace ER with just the A, and to say that, you're my N, and you're my, and all these kind of things. And but when it gets to the place now, this is my point. This is the point of the rant, that you have these high-level guys, these culture-changing dudes. You got Rick Ross, you got Drake, you got J. Cole, you got Kendrick Lamar, okay? You got Chris Breezy, you got Quavo, and the list continues. I probably haven't even scratched the surface yet of all the people involved in this whole new diss track culture. These guys are doing, in my opinion, decades of harm to the culture. I believe they are. Decades of harm to the culture, to the point where they're saying, you're a half-breed, and because you're a half-breed, we don't even think you have the right to say that word anymore. Look how it comes up now. Now you want to kind of use it when it comes part of a diss, but you're saying it, and it's actually resonating with us because it's true. It's true. You don't necessarily have the right to use that word unless you're really in the culture. 100%. Not in the culture because you're an entertainer. Because if y'all know where Drake comes from, ain't no brothers up there. Okay? It's called Forest Hill. I'm not talking about his house now, which is up there. I'm talking about where he came from when he was, Degrassi Drake, when he was, when he was what's the boy? Aubrey, right? Most people here call him Aubrey. They don't call him Drake. They call him Aubrey. I was dating a girl. She was, and it's crazy because Drake, I'm telling you, Drake has done so much. I don't know what to say, how to call it, but I'm saying he's done so much culture manipulation in Toronto. I'm dating a girl, and she said to me, a beautiful model, and she's like, I don't know. She didn't like my clothes. She didn't like how I dressed. She felt, listen to me, she's black. She's a black girl, but she's part Italian. But she identifies more with the non-black side. And she says, I don't know if I can take you around my friends the way you dress. What she told me. I said, what do you mean? What's wrong with the way I dress, girl? I'm clean as a whistle. She goes, I don't really like all the African prints. I said, are you black? Like, do you identify as black? Yeah, but why can't you just wear normal? I can't take you on my friends. I said, who are these friends you're telling me about? And she says, you know, like Drake. I said, screech! Put on the brakes, sister. I said, do you want me to show you all the letters after my name? You're saying I can't go around. Did you say Drake? She said Drake. She said Cedric the Entertainer. She said Shaq, right? And the only person I'll take off that list is Shaq, because Shaq went and got some education. I said, my girl, do you understand the things that come out of my brain these guys can't even speak about? You're talking about how I'm putting myself together? Man, she got administratively dismissed from my life, brother. Because some people have, and she calls him Aubrey, she's known him her whole life, right? Some people have simply drank the Kool-Aid and have lost themselves somewhere along the line. So he has the credibility of thugs attached to him. He has also the corporate credibility of white people, because Drake is an ambassador for the Toronto Raptors. He's a wonderful spokesperson. And everybody who listens to him, non-rap, realizes he's a charismatic, funny, witty, articulate guy. He's very smart. He's not a fool. He's not a dummy. And that so-called corporate, if you will, white side, not that there can't be a corporate black side, he very much cozies up to. He absolutely can play both sides of that particular coin. It does a fantastic job doing it. And this is not about Drake, or this whole rant is not about Drake, but just the fact that all of these voices, when they feel like it, are using the N-word. All of them, whether they're dissing Drake or each other, they're using the N-word, but when it's not convenient for this young mixed boy to use it against them, they're pulling this card. And to me, if you're going to pull that card, pull it on yourself. If you're going to pull that card, if you're going to say Drake, who is a mixed kid, can't use the N-word, which I sometimes resonate. I don't feel good when I hear him say it either. You shouldn't say it neither. You should not say it neither. I don't care where you came from. Come from Dade County. I don't care where you come from. Memphis. I don't care where you come from. Take the culture to a place where you can lift us higher. That's why I love that series, The Godfather of Harlem. Because I'm seeing Malcolm talk to Bumpy. Bumpy's the full criminal. Malcolm is the activist. And he's saying, yo, Bumpy, if you're going to be a criminal, the only thing I'm going to say about you is do not be a criminal with the Italians. Separate and stand on your own and be a real gangster by yourself. And I believe Malcolm has a statement that the black gangster is the most dangerous man in America. I remember he's had this, I want to get some context to it, but he was saying that because he's the only individual who doesn't have to worry. The black gangster stands up and just says, I'm not worried about the man paying me anything. I'm not worried. I can pay off the police. I can pay off the government. I'm the most dangerous man in America because I've got guns, I've got wisdom, I've got connections, I've got the white man working for me. I am hegemony myself. Malcolm wasn't a fool, and he got that from Bumpy Johnson because they were actually friends. But spinning this all the way back, utilizing your amazing platform of rap music and the mind you have to make entertainment. And again, I don't know why people listen to Kendrick Lamar. I can write a Kendrick Lamar song in 15 minutes. I really can. I don't know if you'll dance to it. I don't think you can dance to Kendrick's music either. But the changes of voices, the changes of tones, he doesn't even go to the beat. It's interesting to me. I understand Drake's music. I even understand Rick Ross, but I don't understand Kendrick Lamar's music. But y'all love it. That's your business. And I ain't taking nothing away from it. Apparently he's a genius. But I'm saying, if you have that level of genius level in your life, why don't you use it for something? This is why, again, this is why people love Kanye. Because somehow in the midst of creating this brand, Kanye has woven himself somehow into being considered a guy that is so forward thinking he can outsmart corporations, he can outsmart the culture, right? He's using some of his evil for good. He has, right? He's made gospel records. He's done some things that, you know, other people really haven't even thought to do. He's created fashion and, you know, all the things, sneakers, and he's brought Adidas to their knees, and he can say anything he wants. Anything he wants. He is unscathed by criticism. He doesn't work for anyone. He works for Kanye. So these guys now, we sitting here saying, hey, if you want to say something for the culture, say something for the doggone culture. Let me hear what you got to say. Oh, we got lots here. We got lots here. Yeah, look who owns the label. That's what he's, yeah, because the labels are saying, yeah, that's what we need you to say. We need you to poison your culture, right? Man, this is so good. I want to read this. It's not just that he's half-breed. It's because he's not a foundational black American, and he is obviously not authentically black. Let's get it right? Now, you don't have to be a black American to be black, because I'm not a black American, but I understand what you're saying. It's like he's not really in the culture. Like in Degrassi, he was a little crippled boy, a little crippled mixed boy. It's not like he doesn't seem authentically black enough to use it. I know what you're saying. That's how I feel too. That's how I feel too. And just listen, there's a serious black culture here, because he's not necessarily Jamaican, or he's not Trinidadian, he's not African per se. He's a Canadian that is from a mixed ethnicity. And it doesn't seem from the eyes around that he is black enough to use those kinds of terms and be completely accepted, except they used him to make money. They did. They used his genius to make money, Wheezy, and how he came up. They used it. But now it kind of feels a little funny. It feels a little funny. It does. Let me see. Because playing on African American and Black American. Let me see. I'm gonna pull over because I want to actually read some of this properly, and I can talk to you guys. It says he's also has a picture of himself in blackface, wearing a t-shirt. Go ahead. Wearing a t-shirt and hoodie that says Jim Crow, Drake. Again, I need to understand what he means by that, right? Because a lot of times people put out things and we don't understand what it actually means. But without an explanation, you're going to get criticism, right? You're overstepping your bounds too, because you don't have a parent or a grandparent who is subject to sharecropping or slavery in the United States. But remember, folks, slavery is in a lot of places, right? Because we had slavery in Trinidad, there was slavery in Jamaica, there was slavery in Canada for a period of time. There's African slavery in Europe. So yes, the American slavery experience, of course, South America, of course, the African slavery experience is not just American, but Drake's audience is probably mostly that American audience, right? So yes, he doesn't have necessarily, and we don't know, I don't know where his father's from. Apparently his father's from Memphis, and if his father is from Memphis, and his father has those generational ties to slavery, then he does have the right, right? But it just doesn't feel good. It just doesn't necessarily feel good. Let me see what else you're saying. I'm talking to the host in his peach-colored suit. Am I out here? Be respectful of those who have defined what it actually means to be black. You're talking to me. You see, I don't have the right to talk about blackness? Brother, do you know who I am? Do you understand? Do you understand who I am? I'm an Igbo Nigerian whose people were taken to Trinidad in the third company. Okay, you know where you come from? I'm an Igbo Nigerian, and we took the third company, the south part of Trinidad and Tobago. Okay, so I know my generational slave history. I know exactly where I come from. And slavery didn't just go to America. Brother, come on, broaden your horizons, right? Most of the slaves went to South America, okay? So they went to Brazil, right? Brazil had more than America had. And Trinidad was a slave colony. We have our independence. We are a republic, and we are black slaves who took over and run our own country. Okay, so that's just giving you a little history, right? Not only are many of us descendants of slaves, some of us, like myself, know exactly where we come from. I have an African passport. You understand? I was repatriated back. So I have an African passport. I have every right. Okay? I do not consider myself a nationalist of the colony that colonized me. That's my criticism of African Americans. You call yourself an American. You are not. You're the property of America. That's all you are. You are the extension of Americans' chattel. You are chattel property. And until you disassociate yourself with your ownership, you can never be a real person. So you can't call yourself an African American. You simply have to be an African that lives in America. All right? So yes, American slavery is not the only slavery, my brother. Let's talk now. Continue. Let's continue. Let's keep going. He says, you're not smart enough to write a Kendrick Lamar song. Boy, you just challenged me. You just challenged me. Come on. You want me to put a Kendrick Lamar bar on you right now? You didn't even get the double and triple entendre he spoke in his songs. Listen, I said quite clearly, I don't know the culture, but I listened long enough to say that Kendrick dropped a few decent bars, but to say that I can't write a Kendrick Lamar song, my brother, are you throwing the gauntlet down? Would you like me to go and to demonstrate my skill set that I have bars? Huh? Would you like me to say it's the era of a brother with no code names, yo? I'm that microphone commander with the tough tempo. I tantalize the sound waves with rhymes that flow that. Come on, man. Don't play with me, man. I got a little bit of bars in me. What did he say? You are, oh, he said that already. He can talk. I don't mind if he talks. He can talk. It's not, I don't have an issue. If you cannot handle criticism, you shouldn't be on social media. I don't mind if the brother talks. It's okay. Let him talk. But the Kendrick Lamar, and all of them, I said it from the very beginning, I had to get context. I had to get context out of what they were talking about, what the labels were called, who the people were who were dealing with the deal. So I understood how Drake was saying that Kendrick Lamar is only making 50% because he's paying somebody else. All these things, there is the nuances and the understanding of the culture in order to understand it. But to say I can't make a Kendrick Lamar song, anybody can make a Kendrick Lamar song. Kendrick Lamar is like country music to me. It's like them people talking about, I see the sky and I see the rain. Like it's just to me, I was just like, Kendrick, I don't get it. I don't get it. I don't get it. I don't like the music. Come on, I'm allowed not to like it. I don't like the music. But when he started to talk directly about what he didn't like about Drake, and I got that part, but I don't really like the music. I'm not gonna lie, it's not my cup of tea. When you think of being black and proud, you think of James Brown, not a non-black American. Well, brother, that is because your limitation of what blackness is comes from your American experience. I have to ask you a question. Do you have a passport? Have you been outside of America? Have you gone to Africa? I have. Have you gone to Israel? I have. Right? I've been around Africa. I've been in the Middle East, brother. I have sat down and spoken and seen the world enough to know that my blackness is not localized simply to North America. You have to do the same. You have to do the same, because the things that you're saying cause you to sound very myopically ignorant, right? Blackness cannot be contained to America. Brother, America is the last slave colony where the slaves have not taken over. The slaves have taken over every colony. They started in Haiti. They took over. They took over in the Caribbean. They took over. We run our own countries, right? They've thrown the colonizers out in many of the African countries. Why is Congo so much, there's so much problems in Congo? Because there's an intention of Europe to destabilize Congo. South Africa threw the Boers out and ran the country. Brother, come on now. The African in America is still not free. You are not. You are not free. You kill your leaders. You kill them. You kill your own leaders. Malcolm was killed by his own people. You kill your own leaders. Have you ever heard of Stokely Carmichael? Stokely Carmichael is a Trinidadian. He was in America. He was one of the leaders of activism in the same time period. He's not an African. He's not an African American. My brother, there's lots of us out here. You just got to educate yourself. When you think of blackness, you think of African American. I don't. I don't. Who is Bob Marley? Who is that? When you think of blackness, you don't think of, the Jamaican thinks of Bob. Huh? They think of Haile Selassie. They think of Ethiopia. You are limited. When I think of blackness, I think of Abraham. I think of David. I think of Israel. I think of Joseph. I think of Moses. I think of Jesus. That's how I think. When I think of blackness, I just don't think of Thurgood Marshall, brother. It's bigger than that. And your blackness is bigger than that. It's older than that. If blackness started in America, that means the white man invented black people. Come on, man. Stop this. Stop this. The Apostle Paul was a black man. Okay? We go longer than that. And yes, I don't understand the culture, because that's not a culture that I can bury my mind in. How can I bury my mind in the mud of a bunch of black men who have decided to simply write songs tearing each other down and denigrating the culture? I don't want to understand it. I'm only speaking to it now because it's come to the forefront and it's become a problem. It's become offensive because there's a generation behind them, not just a generation of black kids, but a generation of white, Asian, Middle Eastern individuals who are now going to use the ease of which they speak negatively about black people, and that will be, you're not going to be able to tell the next generation not, because you've made it so easy to say that to you. Oh, I thought that we can't call you that. No, you can't say that. Oh, I didn't know that. When Malcolm went to Mecca, and I learned this watching the Godfather of Harlem. He went to Mecca, to Hajj, thinking that he was Muslim enough for them to let him in. They said, no, you're not a real Muslim. And they put him in jail. He had to go to court to be Muslim enough. So understanding who you are is more than just sitting in wherever you're sitting in America and eating the food that has been given to you. Most of the food you like is slave food. Eating the things that you don't even understand are not even part of the natural appetite of your ethnicity. You can't come to me and I can't feed you Caribbean food every day. You won't eat it. You won't want it, brother. You don't like it. because you have been given a different palate that isn't even part of your natural ethnicity. The food that I like to eat is African food. Do you know why? Because when they took the slaves to the Caribbean, they said that the slaves in the Caribbean, they're not eating. Why? Because they don't have their original food. So on the slave ships, they put the yams and the cassava. And that's why we in the Caribbean, in the Southern Caribbean, in the tropical hemispheres of the Caribbean, have the same food that they had in Africa. That's why our diets are similar. Yours is not. Yours is not. Because they treated the American slave different. They treated the American slave, they said, let's give them what the hogs eat. Let's give them the leftovers, right? They did that with the Caribbean slaves too. That's why we eat things like chicken foot and cow foot soup and goat head soup. They did that to us too, but we also had some of the vegetation. So our diets are similar. Your diet's not. You don't eat the stuff I eat. The stuff I eat is similar to African food. The stuff you eat is what white folks gave you. So you got to be careful when you're understanding the nuances of your culture. The issues are when we as black men start to tear each other down, when we are trying to make sure that the boys and girls who are coming behind us are not hampered by the mistakes that we are making in our leadership in this generation. I took the long way home so I can talk to you. I took the long way home so I can give you a little bit extra, right? Where's my brother? He's still here? You're overlooking the hundreds and thousands of people that were here prior to European colonization. Some of those were black people. Yes, but those are not African Americans. Those are not African Americans. What is an African American? An African American is a black person who is defined by his American colonialism. You can't speak to the individuals who, yes, came from West Africa, from the Mali Empire, from 1000 BC, 400 years before Christopher Columbus was even born, and came to North America and had settlements there. You can't speak to that because that's not who you are. That's not what you come from. That's not what you resonate with. I'm sorry. And if you did, you wouldn't call yourself an African American. You wouldn't call yourself that. So yes, of course, there was migration of African peoples, of people of pigmentation, of Afro-Hamitic and Afro-Semitic people way before Columbus. Columbus was lost. Know what we say about Christopher Columbus in Trinidad? We have a soca song. We say, Christopher Columbus was a damn blasted liar because he was lost. He called the place West Indies. You went in India, Christopher, you were lost. So you cannot assimilate pre-colonization Africans with colonized Africans. They're not the same people. Psychologically, culturally, not the same people. They're not built the same. They don't think the same. They're not the same people, right? Yes. Talk to me now. You didn't know who you're talking to. It's all right. You must be new here. It's all right. I don't call myself African American. I call myself foundational Black American because my ancestors built this country into what it is. And that is your right, your prerogative. You can call yourself anything you want because you are a free man. And if you want to call yourself a foundational American, I give you the right to call yourself that, brethren. You can call yourself that if you want to call yourself that. I identify with where I came from. I am an Igbo Nigerian, born in Trinidad with a Canadian passport. I've said it from the beginning of this show. I say it all the time. All right? So if you want to call yourself what you want to call yourself, you have the right. You want to call yourself Muhammad Ali, you want to call yourself Cassius Clay, you call yourself anything you want, brother. Just understand who you are. That's all. Understand who you are. That's all I'm telling you. And understand who is feeding your narrative. Because your narrative defines what you feed to the next generation and who you believe you are and what you tolerate. Yes, this is what we're discussing. The diss track error is allowing us to tolerate a level of mess that I think we are far too intelligent to deal with. Man, I can't wait. I'm gonna get on this next show, and I'm gonna write me a Kendrick Lamar diss. I'm gonna write me a Kendrick Lamar song because this brother said I'm not intelligent enough to write. Anybody can write a Kendrick Lamar song. Kendrick Lamar be saying the most simplistic right. Oh my goodness. I don't know. I don't like his music personally. I appreciate that a lot of people do. I'm just not a fan of Kendrick Lamar. They think he's a genius though. It's wild to me. But the narrative, that's the issue. What is the narrative? What is coming forth from it? And this is why the scrutiny is on Drake now, saying, "Wait a minute." And this thing's gonna pick up traction. I said it when it came out. I was like, "Oh no, Drake's got to watch what he puts out there now, because guess what? The rhetoric becomes what's real, right? You're not black enough to say that. White boy, white boy, white boy, right? Drake better go on ethnic cleansing tour and let people know he is black, because he doesn't look like it. That's what he doesn't look like. He's, like I said, he's the DJ Khaled. He's the DJ Khaled of Toronto. He needs to do something about that, right? Guys are talking about everything. We talk about what do they say he did? He did a tummy tuck or some kind of nut. He put fake abs. I don't know, man. They're doing so much with Drake. They saying he got a nose job. They're really coming for that boy. But the point was that it's not just Drake alone. It's not just Drake alone. Okay? You guys are calling out Drake because he's the king of the six in the rap game. He's the biggest rapper in the world, and he's not African American, right? But the issue for me isn't that he's not African American. The issue for me is that, are you black enough, period, to say what you're saying? And are you responsible enough to realize that what you're saying might not be very healthy for what's coming after you? And the thing is, are any of these guys healthy? Is rap music healthy at all? Is it healthy at all? I mean, it's different. This ain't Sugar Hill. This ain't Sugar Hill. This ain't the Sugar Hill gang. Isn't it just shucking and jiving on an entirely different level? Isn't it? I don't know. You see, y'all who might be into the culture, you might be in a position where you're trying to defend it. I don't want to defend it. I think it's all trash. I think it's definitely something that if you get into it, you can understand it, the beat. But let me ask you this question, and this is what I had to do. My oldest now is, how old is she now? 32 years old. She's a nurse. And she had a speech impediment when she was about 4 years old. And this is my rap era. It's when I used to listen to rap. And they told me, oh, you know, she might have to go get speech therapy, and she has a learning disability. And I'm like, whoa, wait a minute. My child does not have a learning disability. My 4-year-old can read. And the specialist looked at the teacher and she said, yeah, she can read. I was like, are you a doctor? Well, no. I said, okay, this is over. This is finished. I did two things. I started getting her books to read above her grade level. And I threw out all of my rap music. I threw it out the window. I remember my Jay-Z track. My little sister was like, no, give it to me. I threw it out the window. I said, I'm not letting my kids learn their language skills from me listening to rap music while they're in the car seat in the back of the car. I cut it out. And I tell you right, within about 3 months, that child was talking. She was talking perfectly. And I realized in the formative years of the development of language that if you're playing derogatory, negative things in these little kids' ears, you're building a situation where you are now building dummies, period. I'll tell you another story real quick. We had a couple foster homes. And when I played rap music for these guys, they would fight in the back of the car. I said, nah, man. Because they're like, oh, put on that song. I used to give them the song that they want to listen to. Because I'm like, okay, let me hear what these kids are listening to. They would fight. I said, nah, okay, no. Now you're going to listen to my music. I put on Al Green. I was putting on Teddy Pendergrass. I was putting on easy listening music, buddy. No fights. They're asleep in the back. So I said, nah, this music thing is dangerous. This music thing is powerful and it's dangerous. And it's nothing to be played with. And you got a generation of people now buying into what these young men are bringing to the table. That's why it's on the spiel. That's why I'm talking about it. While everybody's talking about the Middle East, While he's got these kids in Harvard, Columbia, and Princeton, and all these Ivy League schools, they're having protests over what's happening in the world. The black community that listens to this nonsense is being titillated by J. Cole, Drake, Chris Breezy, Quavo, and Kendrick Lamar, and the rest continues. And we're getting dumber by the second. That's the point. Dumber by the second. As the world goes on, we're not creating solutions. We're not creating institutions. We're not building unified fronts to capitulate other ethnicities under us. We're not doing that. We're having rap battles, baby. Rap battles. Rap battles. Let me see what you guys are saying, because you're saying good stuff. Drake needs to go on an apology tour for disrespecting black Americans with his beat like an American slave line and his blackface photo. I can't believe the wheelchair Degrassi star. I know that's big. I couldn't believe it either. Honestly, when I heard Drake come out the first time, I was like, hey, this sounds pretty good. But then they said it's the guy from Degrassi. I was like, really? That's who this is? Really? That guy? He can rap? I was shocked myself. Trust me. He was not lost. He was just looking for the lost tribes of Israel. I don't call myself African American. Okay, I read that already. Have you read They Came Before Columbus, The African Presence in Ancient America by Ivan van Sertima? I have not read that. I try, no disrespect to this particular author, I don't know him. I try to get my black history from black people. And Ivan, I don't know if Ivan von anyone is a black person. I try, although the very first person who taught me the most in my early years about black history in university was a white German man. And he said something so offensive that it took upon me to say, I want to learn history from black people. He said that Abraham was a rapist. That's what he said. And he was very informative about ancient black history. But at that time, because he said that, I said, you know what? I don't think I want to learn my history from white people about me. I'll learn their history from them. But I think I should find sources of my own, from my own demographic that can tell me my story. I don't want to learn my story from another group, and that's why I've done that in my life. I have a lot of resources for you if you want, and we can talk about that too. Let me go up. But thank you for that reference. I will take a look at Ivan. Let me see. Let me say the name. I will take a peek at that. Actually, I have a passport. And blackety black is American black. Okay, all right, bro. Man, I'm gonna park, man. I wanna read before I go. I'm not logging off till I read all these statements, because this is good. And Leah S, thank you for defending me, babe. I appreciate you. Put them in their blasted place. Put them in their place. Listen, don't mess with Leah, you know. Leah be holding it down. Don't put them in their place, Lee. Put them in their blasted place. Thank you very much for defending the big fella here. All right, so appreciate you. Most slaves were in South America. Yep. Brazil. Yep. Pure Europe. That's right. I'm gonna park in a minute because I really want to read this. My iPod. Yeah. So listen. When it comes to the culture, our problem today is that we have a Charles Barkley-ism about responsibility, right? We have a Charles Barkley, you know what I mean by that? When Charles Barkley was still playing, Charles would do some crazy stuff. One time he spit at, apparently it was a fan, and he spit on a little girl, right? And he got a lot of criticism for that. Apparently he made up for that. He got them like season tickets and he did stuff behind the scenes. But Charles Barkley went and said, I'm not a role model. I'm a basketball player. I'm not a role model, right? And later on, of course, The press and his PR people cleaned that up, saying, listen, your role model should be your parents and school teachers, and not basketball players. He tried to play it off like that, right? Fine. But the facts of the matter is that Charles Barkley was wrong, right? I see you, Leah. Charles Barkley was wrong. Those men are role models. And the problem is that they are more Bumpy Johnson than they are Malcolm X, because they're peddling poison for the brain. They're drug dealers. They are. And the drug that they're dispensing is human depravity. That's the drug they're dispensing. The depravity of a generation. And they are role models. They are extremely responsible. For those who remember when there was crazy things happening in America, and James Brown, they didn't want him to do a particular concert because, I don't know if it was Detroit or LA, where there was riots. He said, no, man, I'm not afraid of my own people. And the kids, they jumped on stage, and he stopped the concert. He said, hey, I need y'all to get down off the stage. I don't want them to be busting y'all up and making us look bad. I want to be able to do the concert. And people listen to him, because that's what happens when you're a leader. People listen to you. People listen to you. You hear me? And people are listening to these men, and they're coming to, I'm afraid, they're coming to conclusions that they shouldn't be coming to. Listen to me. And everybody here who has children, a kid who's 14 to 30, right? Even younger. When you have problems with that young person in your house, all you need to do is go back and hear what they're listening to, what kind of music they're listening to. Go check out what they're listening to. Who are they evoking? Because music is a spirit. Who are they evoking? And you will see why that child is acting up. Right? Man, listen. I listen to my daughter. I want to hear your playlist. When she's like, "Oh, Dad, can I put my music on?" Yeah, go ahead. But she knows the rules. No cuss words. Oh, but every now and then, bloop, cuss word pops out. Boom, I turn that thing off. I'm like, dude, does all your music have cuss words? My son's in the car. They got that thing in their ear. Bam, 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 bam. I can hear the music. I can hear all the cuss words. They got earbuds. I can hear all the cuss words. I'm looking at them. Man, I turn my music up so loud. I turn it up so loud that I can't hear them, and they probably even can't hear what's in their own ears. I'm like, yo, how you have that stuff in your brain, poisoning your head every day? That's why you think like that. I remember my one middle boy. This one's gonna be long. I'm here. I've been here for 58 minutes because I don't mind. My one middle son. The school called me because he wrote down, all my friends are dead. I was like, what the hell? His mama, who was in the culture, said, oh, that's a lyric from a rap song. That's what he's writing down? All my friends are dead. And I heard the song later on, all my friends are dead. I was like, what in the hell? The teacher didn't know what it was either. The teacher was like, oh my gosh, does he want to kill himself? I was dumbfounded too. But look at the poison. And that little boy, I've had so much problems with him. So much problem. He's a big man now. I've had problems with him. It's the music. It's the music. It's the music. It's the doggone music. I'm sorry. It's the music. And these guys are poisoning a generation. Yes, they are. They got to be careful what they're doing, right? Some of it is easy listening. Some of it is jokes. Some of it is clear. It's just jokes, right? Do I like Drake's music? I don't dislike it. Do I like Drake? Nah, I'm not really a big fan of Drake. But I can't say his music is bad. I can say Kendrick's is bad. Kendrick's music ain't that good. I like Chris Brown's music. We know Chris Brown has some issues. So the music and the person very many times are detached. But what is the message behind the music? What is the music saying? What is the responsibility of that musician to speak to the culture? Are you an activist, or are you peddling poison to your culture? And are you empowering an outside culture to essentially look down upon you? They used to call it, what they used to call it? Negro music. Negro music. Look at that Negro music. Now they don't call it Negro music no more. They don't call it Negro music no more. I remember me and my cousin, there was one song and it was like, it was just, anyway, and it was like, wow, you just hammering that message in their head, eh? Just hammering that message. We're in 2024, and that word is as powerful as it was in the 1800s. Isn't it crazy? And we've kept it alive. I listen to Griselda records every day, and I'm not calling, what does he say? I'm not selling narcotics or committing crimes. Stop the cap. People know right from wrong. People don't know right from wrong, though. People don't know right from wrong. And I'll give you an example. I'm going to give you an example. If you don't agree with me, I'm agree with you, right? Would you agree? You look on Instagram, folks who got Instagram. There is a very strong stripper culture on Instagram. It's a stripper culture. All the girls look the same. All the girls want BBLs. They want bigger breasts. They don't want to work out for it. They're getting their bodies done, right? They're getting injections. It's culture. It's part of a culture. And the point that men have changed what they like in a woman. If that girl doesn't have the weave on, if she doesn't have the full makeup on, if she doesn't have the eyelashes on, she looks funny to you. Because you've been transformed by the culture. So just because you're not selling narcotics because you're listening to music about narcotics, what else in the culture is changing how you see the world, your worldview, what you like, what you want, what you desire? Teaching women that you got to look like a stripper now to be attractive. It's changing the culture. So yeah, maybe you're strong enough to hear that and to not be affected by it, but maybe somebody else isn't. Maybe somebody else is not patient enough to say, well, I'm just going to wait. I'm going to wait and make money. I'm going to go get a job. Now $30,000, $30,000 a year, $30,000 a year, $40,000 a year. I need a man to make at least, women are saying, I need a man to make at least $200,000. They don't even have the capacity, the concept of understanding what is needed to make that money, because they have now a new culture, a stripper culture, a culture where they show up, shake their booty, and somebody throws money at them. So they don't even want to be on the pole for it. They want to walk around the community and say, I deserve you to throw money at me. This is the same thing, because Instagram is just like Quavo. Instagram is just like Rick Ross. It's feeding you something consistently poison and negative to the point that you change your mind about what is right to what is wrong. So brother, everybody does not know what is right and what is wrong. No, what is right and what is wrong is taught to you. What is right and what is wrong is conditioning that you believe it. And this is what this is. So if you think it's cap, tell me why. Tell me why trap music has become the new music. Tell me why. Tell me why the girl artists have to become more sexual and talk about their part of their is pink and then part of their booty hole is brown. Why do they got to do that? Why is that? Because that's the culture. And if it wasn't popular, it wouldn't sell. Period. And if you want to be the next rap star, who are you going to be? You're going to want to be, if you're a woman, if you're a little girl and you want to be a rap star, who are you going to want to be? You're going to want to be the brat? Huh? Or you're going to want to be Sexy Red? You're going to want to be a City Girls? Right? Or you want to be Salt and Pepper? Who you want to be? Ain't nobody running around trying to be Salt and Pepper right now. They want to be the City Girls. They want to be Sexy Red. Why is that? Culture. Music is teaching the culture. That's what is happening. Sometimes culture follows music, but most times music follows culture. Most times. I've been trying to park for the longest time and read these doggone things. I'm gonna find a place and effectively and pull over, talk to you folk, and I just want to read the comments, because I don't want to miss all of these really good comments. And again, for those who haven't been on this page before, this is a free, I mean, unless you're saying stuff that's absolutely crazy, like Trump 2024, if you're saying crazy stuff like that, I might have the moderators get rid of you. But I want to hear what you got to say. You don't have to agree with me. You don't have to agree with me. But I do want to hear what you got to say. Let me see if I can pull over here and do a little reading and then continue along my way. Here we go. Look, see, I told you I'd find someplace to park. Let me see what y'all got to say. Take this. I gotta scroll up. The top rap artists of females are immigrants. Nicki Minaj, Cardi B. Cardi B's a Puerto Rican, but Nicki's definitely, she's from Trinidad. Let me go up. Did you ever used to listen to Public Enemy? Absolutely. Paris was my guy. I used to listen to Paris. When I used to listen to Paris. The devil made me do it, right? Remember, that's what he used to play. And I would get angry as hell. Public Enemy, but Public Enemy had a message of empowerment. So it was balanced, right? And it was informational, right? It wasn't just strictly just be angry at white people. It gave you some information. Elvis was a hero to most, but he never meant to me. I was like, oh, I used to like Elvis. What? Straight up racist. The sucker was simple and plain. Mother and John Wayne. Like that stuff was like, okay. Talk. Why can't I like John Wayne? What's wrong? What did he do? He did. It was informational. The Nubians, yep. Other pro-black rap artists, or did you just listen to gangster rap? No, gangster rap was a very new thing. I'm 55 years old, so gangster rap was very new. These kids don't even listen to their parents. Mostly single moms. They don't respect any authority figure. So whose fault is it that, do you blame celebrities or the person, the people who raised them? I blame the culture. The kids listen to the culture, right? Kids are listening to the culture. The reason that many of us black men today are actively involved in wanting to be involved with our children is because the allegation of black men when we were boys was that black men don't take care of their children, right? Deadbeat dads. Black men don't take care of their kids, right? Statistically now, we know that's not true because this generation has said, you're not going to call me what you call my daddy. I'm going to take care of my kids. No matter what, I'm going to be here for my children. And a culture based on the allegation of the last culture, we changed how we function, right? But a lot of that too was the music was inspiring that type of behavior, right? I'm just saying. He says, you are Denzel, I love your movies. Big fan. Stop this, man. Because black men are on the move while helping black men. I love that. That should be happening. The industry has done its part to pull black rap. Yep. And we know who controls the entertainment industry. I agree 100%. Let me go down. Let me go down. Yeah, Luke Skywalker and 2 Live Crew back in the day. Right. So now listen, Luke is tame compared to what dudes are saying. We knew what Luke's music was for. But now, Luke's music, if it was played today, that'd be light. That'd be light if they play Luke's music today. All right? Let me keep going. Frank Smith says, I don't agree with that. I look for intelligence and character over BBLs and exterior things. Brother, so do I. So do I, but I would be dishonest if I would say that I haven't gotten used to girls having afros for eyelashes. I'd be lying. I'd be lying. If a girl got no eyelashes, she looked like a baby squirrel. She looked like, oh my goodness, is this a newborn chipmunk if she don't have no eyelash? You're used to women having eyelashes that could definitely signal a plane. We're used to that now, right? Because it's something that's now part of the culture. We're used to it. It's happened. Right. Okay. Let me keep going. A lot of these rappers are putting Carnival on record year-round, including their videos. I'm not sure what you mean by Carnival. Um, it's easy to shut all those women down off men stop paying attention to and spending money on those wayward women. Economics 101, remove the money and the game has to change. And I think it's not just the money. I think men have to stop buying into saying that I'm going to buy a chick. And a lot of brothers, that's the talk. That's how they talk even here. Yo, man, I got money, man. I'm making some good money at this job. Yo, I can buy any chick I want. I can drive any car I want. Wait, what you say? I can buy any chick I want, because the mentality is you can't have a woman without money. You got to pay for a woman. And a woman has become a commodity, again, because of the culture. Let me keep going. Brother Peach Suit, did you listen to Public Brother Peach Suit. Man, listen, if you can't wear colors, that's not my fault, okay? I've got a clay undertone, brown complexion. I can make it happen, Captain. Listen, I got everything nuancing. And it's laundry day. I had to go deep in the closet. Come on, man, help me out. We follow what women do. The downfall, this is Frank Smith again. The downfall of men started when Adam followed Eve in partaking. That's the human race, baby. Trump 2024. Ban him. If men cut the sexy red types off, the market would change. Come on, Frank Smith. Frank Smith is saying some stuff here. There was a meeting, this is Marcus again, in the 90s to move rap away from pro-black messaging. Tell me you've heard of this meeting, Dr. Peach Suit. I didn't hear this meeting, Marcus. I'm glad. See, Marcus, that's why we need you out here, brother. Because you apparently got all the, you know where all the secret meetings are happening, Marcus. Marcus knows where all, Marcus, you need to just send us a notification when they're having these secret pro-black meetings. Teach me the handshake so I can get in, okay? But I didn't hear about the meeting, brother. I'm sorry, I didn't hear about the meeting. I was up here in Toronto, Canada, just trying to survive like every black man in North America. I didn't hear about that meeting, bro. All right? Don't kill me because I didn't hear about the meeting. All right. Yeah, man. That's an hour and 12 minutes. I appreciate everybody who's stayed up. Yep. I almost cut you off. I appreciate everybody who's hung out here with me. This is Del K. Brereton. This is The Real Spiel. Subscribe. Stay on the channel. We're going to talk some more. Comment after the live is off if you want to. And let's keep the conversation going. There's lots of topics on here. Go back and check out some of the older videos and some of the things I've already said, and so you can get an idea of who you're talking to and where we're going. Agreed. Miss Rose, KRS-One did speak. Yep, KRS-One. KRS-One was one of my favorite artists back in the day. He used to talk about biblical characters. I got a lot of information from KRS-One. KRS-One, but I remember the bridge too, you know. KRS-One had to change how he was talking about. He was having battles with queens and other local stuff, and he realized I don't need to be talking about this. And then he came up with what, the Church of Hip Hop. And so KRS-One, he evolved from being a battle rapper to a guy that said, I want to educate my people, and that's what I'm saying. And it didn't affect his music negatively. It actually became more popular. So bless you guys. Good meeting, Del. Yeah, Marcus, good to meet you too, bro. Good to meet you too. I love brothers who just, listen, you come with your information, we talk about it. There's always love here, man. It's always love. And listen, I need you guys to go out and find yourself some colors, because I know you brothers, those brothers who you don't, nothing in your closet other than blue, gray, and black. But I'm out here wearing colors, brother. I'm out here wearing colors, looking sharp as a tack. This is my tooth from Kenya, from the Maasai, right? You know what I'm saying? I got a lot of culture in here. Come on. But it's good to see you guys. I appreciate you. Love, peace, and hair grease. We'll talk very soon. This is The Real Spiel with Del K. Brereton. We'll talk. Bye-bye.